if you're on the net, there's weekly contests, it's really a sine wave this next month or so. Some weeks there's nothing, and the next week, again, it's the fire hose. So they don't spread them out. In September, we've got the Asian DX contest phone version. Colorado, Tennessee, Alabama, Iowa, Texas, New Jersey, and Washington are going to be QSO parties for the state QSO parties. And Washington, they call theirs a salmon run. So if you see something, if you hear CQ test salmon or something like that, then that's what you're listening for. VHF contest is in September, the ARL VHF contest. Worked All Europe DX phone, and then Region 1 Field Day, which is Africa, Europe, Northern Asia, Africa, Europe, North Asia, and seems like there's a fourth one, I can't. But it's that strip from England to this, just inside of Asia, whatever that group is. So it's a good way to build up your country total, because you should be able to get a lot of Europe stuff. Okay, enough of that, and on with now, a little background on this. Several years ago, FCC required all transmitters to build up a radio frequency, we'll call it a susceptibility chart. This is how much radiation you're taking in from your combination of antenna and transmitter. In the past, hams had it easy. There was a simple chart to look up, and it took like 30 seconds. Well, the engineers got together and made it so complex that it is undecipherable unless you've got a PhD in double E. Some really smart hams got together and figured out some calculations that they did in the background, so you just plug in some simple numbers. FCC requires that you have completed this survey, recorded it, and it's in your station log. And they could knock on the door and ask to see it. Now, that's a requirement. I doubt if anybody in this room has ever, even knows anybody that the FCC has ever knocked on their door and looked for it. It isn't going to happen. It just isn't going to happen, but it's still a requirement. So you can go through this exercise and be done with it. It is interesting to note, if you've got a neighbor, if you've got an antenna in your backyard and a neighbor walks by it, if you've accidentally exposed them to uncontrolled radiation, then you could be in some trouble there. And you know this field exists, so you're a control that you get a little higher exposure, but somebody has no clue about this invisible force field around them. They have a lot lower exposure, and that's probably the ones you need to be concerned with. That you don't walk out in the backyard and have too much radiation from your 10-meter beam or something. So if you don't have the cheap calculators in the background, I don't know how anybody on God's green earth could have done this. It took me 30 minutes. I have 4 antennas. It took me 30 minutes to do this. So don't get. I want to minimize this. Just what I want to do is I want to, let's see, copy.
Okay, you're going to have to make that larger for the people sitting in the back of the room.
Or the front of the room.
It's going to screw up the.
Ink blots.
Can you just talk us through it?
Yeah, let me do that. First of all, I need.
Is there a URL to go to get this?
Yes. No. What I want to show you is it's a little more awkward with this.
Have Tom send out the URL to get this thing when we're done with it.
I'm going to do it my way, Mac. Okay.